Lax work requirements for people receiving benefits have been left essentially unchanged. The net effect is we're going to have more people collecting benefits such as TANF and SNAP and SSI, and they'll be able to stay on it longer. What that does is to change the amount of money we owe back to the federal government because we aren't having a strict work requirement. So we're going to have more expenditures and more money that we owe back to the federal government. Then we can say to them, that's why we sent them here. Another problem here is that there are all kinds of new expenditures for different projects, for different programs, and frankly, don't do a whole lot to take care of Maine's most needy and disabled. Stavros, would you tell us something about that?
$300 million increase in this budget, and yet we still can't take care of our adults with autism and other disabilities. We're still leaving them on waiting lists. As far as I'm concerned, a state that can't take care of its own truly needy and disabled should be shut down. Shut it down.
I asked the legislator if they could tell me whether the benefits for non-citizens for SNAP, TANF, and SSI were in this budget. The legislator couldn't answer the question. That brings us to a fairly frightening issue, which is namely the process by which this budget was produced. There were 5 months to look at the governor's budget. Legislators had all the time they needed to understand what was in there. When a deal was put forward, the legislators were given 3 hours to look at a 700-page document and vote on it. No wonder when I asked legislators, are these non-citizen benefits still in here, they don't know the answer. The process by which this was done was so bad that one of the correspondents who has been covering the State House for 40 years resigned from an open government position. That's a sad state of affairs when a 40-year correspondent is finally compelled to resign from an open government board that looks after what's going on up here in Augusta. That's the process that has gone on here. Rather than fund the eligible Maine Care citizens, we're going to be buying the $200,000 summer residence of a former employee, federal employee who used to work on labor negotiations. It was that, or to go back to the wait list and get more disabled Mainers the health care they are entitled to. This budget also denies more spending to halt drug trafficking. Drug trafficking is blossoming in this state. I'm not sure that's the kind of rose we would like to have in the Garden of Maine. We have got to get our priorities straight. The legislators are going to have an opportunity to go cast some votes today. Do they want to vote for this budget? Or do they want to vote against this budget and give themselves an opportunity to take another look at the priorities that they were sent up here to accomplish? Cindy Nesbitt, let's talk about priorities.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you to everybody that took the day off today. I know we're all hard-working Mainers, and we're up here to support our governor, to support the House. And I just want to talk a little bit about short-term memory loss. Good thing I'm a hoarder, because I kept this. Actions speak louder than words. We sent them for more jobs, welfare reform, taxes cut. Pretty simple. And that's what we're here today, to talk to our legislators, our senators, to do, to support our governor. It's pretty simple. That's what we want. We love our state. We need to keep it on the course of bringing prosperity to our state. We know what the governor's doing, and we have to trust with him. We have to get behind our senators and our legislators. And I want to thank you all. Please keep coming up here. We need to pass the word. We need to have people come up here. This is our state house. And this is what we're in the state of Maine to do to take this back, and I appreciate everyone coming up. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Nick. Complaint you will hear from a Republican legislator about extending this budget process is it runs the risk of shutting down the government. Well, which government? It doesn't shut down the federal government. It doesn't shut down the municipal governments. It doesn't shut down the county governments. It shuts down part of the state government. This is not going to be the end of the world that people have been led to believe while they've been up here for the last 5 months. So, as you go out and you have an opportunity to talk with your legislators about what is or is not in the budget, they're going to ask for a path. They're going to ask for a way to improve upon what is currently before them. It's called an interim operating budget. It's very simple. You're going to take the existing budget and you're going to extend it for another 30 days. And that is going to give everybody an opportunity to be able to say we had a good legislative process, we had transparency, and we had an opportunity to revisit how we want to prioritize the budget of the state of Maine for the next 2 years. Thank you for your time. Have fun this morning educating the legislators.
Given to me by this lovely young lady here to clean up the state. Mary gave me this broom and she said, clean it up. This is 5 years ago, a little over 4 years, 4.5 years ago. And my purpose here is to have a good budget, a good governance. Yesterday in Holton, we had the 24th meth lab to be busted, 24. Last year we had 32 all year. We're in 24th and we're not even through June. In the 3 hours of the morning, the 4 people that had their little budget deal, they took money out of education. Took money that we had earmarked for other priorities of the state and put it into education. Then they went down to the city of Portland and headed by Senator Alford and told them to reduce their local budget in education and use that money for the undocumented and that the state would pay for the higher amount of education. This is not the kind of governance we want. I am all for asylum seekers. If the federal government will either give us the opportunity to make a decision on them or they fund them while they're here and they're not able to work. It is not the state's responsibility. It is the federal government responsibility. And they're trying to keep that it's their responsibility, immigration's their responsibility, but they're trying to demonize us by taking local taxpayer dollars that are earmarked for our disabled, our mentally ill, and our elderly in nursing homes, for our education system, and they say, let's use that money. You can afford it. We'll make the decision on whether or not they stay or not. And what nobody wants to talk about is 70% of the asylum seekers are sent home. That is not the way we run good governance. And I was elected to stand up for the people of Maine. You are the people of Maine. And I am going to continue to work for you with every ounce of blood and breath I have in my body. Thank you.